70%. At the very top end. That is how much faster Grand Theft Auto Online finished loading on one PC in one player's own test, in his own written account of it. Who found what was costing all those seconds? And who shipped the change that came afterwards? The complaint was 4 years old before anybody measured it. On the game's Steam discussion board, in November 2016, a discussion asking why online took forever to load ran to 169 posts. One player put his total at 206 hours, and bet at least 100 were loading screens. 4 documents answer the question, and no 2 of them are the same kind of thing. There's a dated article a player going by Toast posted at the end of February 2021. There is a Rockstar Games statement that 4 newsrooms carried. There is Rockstar's own support page for the title update that followed. And there is a note he added to that article on the 15th of March about money. A 5th document would close the last question in this story, and no version of it has ever been published. Between a fast test on one desk and a change inside a live product sits a company doing its own production work. Nothing in these 4 collapses that gap. Everybody on those threads had an explanation, and none of them came with a measurement. In 2016, the accepted answer was the peer-to-peer nature of the game. Another player in that thread said he had no idea why. With the game on a solid-state drive behind a fast processor and cable internet, nobody picked it up. In 2017, the newspaper Metro printed the answer that the engine is loading the entire map. In November 2018, a player on the game's subreddit wrote that story mode took 30 seconds and online took 20 minutes and more. The replies told him to get better internet. He said he had gigabit, and the thread downvoted him below 0. Then somebody measured. On the 28th of February, 2021, Toast published a dated account of his own investigation and wrote that 7 years on it still loaded as slowly as it had at release. Profiling isolated a loading bottleneck, one place where the seconds were going. His figures are in the post. About 6 minutes flat before, 1 minute 50 after his changes, on a machine he listed and called dated himself. 69.4% on that machine. 70 is his own rounding of it. He scoped it himself in the same post before anybody asked. Most likely, this would not solve everyone's load times, he wrote, and there might be other bottlenecks on different systems. The post went to the top of Hacker News the day it appeared, and nothing in the record says how Rockstar found out. For 15 days, the company was silent. Then it answered through reporters. Ars Technica, PC Gamer, VGC, and GameSpot all carried the same company response, and its wording is exact. Rockstar said that Toast had revealed an aspect of the game code related to PC load times that could be improved, and that the company had made changes for a forthcoming title update. An aspect of the code could be improved, a diagnosis agreed with. The changes were the company's own, in the company's own sentence, and that half hands the implementation to nobody else. Nobody outside Rockstar heard it directly. Every word arrived through the reporters. Toast did not know what they had changed. He asked for more technical details and published the answer he got. They could not tell him anything. 2 weeks before the update shipped, he had already described his own version in public as a few lines of code and a throwaway solution, something you would have to rewrite to make it stable anyway. Both halves of that boundary are in his own handwriting. No change had shipped yet. 16 days after that article went up, Rockstar put out something with its own name at the top. Rockstar Games issued support notes for Title Update 1.53. Under the PC heading, dated the 16th of March, 2021, is an entry for improvements to PC loading times. The same entry thanks Toast for his contributions around that part of the update. It records that the loading times improved and never says by how much. 4 newsrooms printed that thanks line word for word on the day it appeared. Rockstar thanked him on Rockstar's own page for contributions. The page never says contributions to what. Did any of that reach anybody else? On the day the patch shipped, PC Gamer put a stopwatch on it. One of its staff had been taking 3 minutes 15 to get from launch into the game and did the same run afterwards in 2 minutes. The outlet called its own results more modest improvements, and improvements nevertheless, and relayed bigger player reports it said it could not verify. That is about a third of the weight gone, measured on one journalist's machine, in a different test from the one that produced 69.4. Toast ran his own benchmark again that day and wrote that it was fixed. The note he added on the 15th of March, a day before that entry, carries something else. It says he was awarded $10,000 through Rockstar's HackerOne bug bounty, granted as an exception, and that he was trying to work out how to fill in a W-8 form. Exception is his word, and he is the source for the whole sentence. Game developer, GameSpot, and Forbes reported the same amount at the same time. Rockstar does run a public bug bounty program through HackerOne, and PC Gamer reported that Rockstar confirmed the payment to it directly. That is the closest the company comes to speaking on the money, and it is one outlet's account of a conversation nobody else was in. Toast said the program normally pays only for security problems, and Rockstar has never addressed that either way. 4 things happened here, and each rests on a different source. A player found and measured a problem, and his dated article is the proof. Rockstar agreed with the diagnosis and put the changes with itself in the same statement. Rockstar credited him by name on its own page, and $10,000 was reported paid by Toast first and 3 newsrooms after him. Something else happened, and it happened fastest. Rockstar's own noun for him was player. Within days, the coverage had him as a hacker, a modder, a fan, a programmer, and the verb was almost always fixed. One headline said identified. On the 17th of March, a technology news site reported that Rockstar had bought his code for $13,000. No source supports that number or that sale, and the piece is still up. Retellings still say Rockstar took his code and paid him to keep quiet. Recognition and authorship are 2 separate claims, and only one of them is on that page. Profiled and identified do not turn into wrote and shipped. Nothing in this record puts Toast's work inside the game Rockstar released. One sentence survives all 4 documents without a single qualification on it. A stranger measured Rockstar's product in public, and Rockstar changed the product and put his handle in its own release notes. He never published another post. That site has carried one since 2021. Asked in January 2023 to look at a related problem, he answered that he had not played in a long while and was too lazy to look, and archived the repository the month after. The 5th document, the one that would show $10,000 leaving Rockstar and arriving somewhere, has never been published. What does not rest on anybody's memory is the entry. It is dated the 16th of March, 2021. 4 newsrooms printed it word for word that day, and it thanks him by name.